we'll move on to our next game. So stay with us. 3 more games remaining then here in Oxford. Don't go anywhere. Pleasure, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers. Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah.
But just to add a secondary option of the runner. So you've got one runner on the left, one runner on the right, and the half will wrap around whichever way they pass the ball, becoming the runner. The best way to complete a 4-man drive or an arrows platform is to hit one side, i.e. to pass the ball to the left, and then to pass the ball to the right, the second runner, and then the left for the third, and so on. A buddy is a 2-man play which we use to create the momentum for a 3 or 4-man drive. A buddy involves the ball being put down, stepped over, the half will then pass back to that same person and they will run straight into the 3 or 4-man drive. The Mexican standoff starts when the defensive team make their 5-metre line. The moment one person from the 6 step into that 5-metre line, the whole team then has to move forward until the touch is either imminent or initiated. The Mexican standoff has one other rule where the attacking team, if they enter the 5-metre channel, the defensive team no longer have to walk up. But until then, the defensive team have to move forward until the touch is imminent.
Forward, 44! Gotta stay forward, gotta stay up! Still forward, no pulling back early. Still up, 27, stay up! Stay up! Now drop! Scoreline, girls!
In touch, you can have rolling substitutions. The attacking team will use this in their favour in order to get fresh legs onto the pitch. A subbing move will usually take place when a defensive turnover occurs. A subbing move can be anything from a backdoor play or a 3-man drive in order to get the space on the field for 3 or 4 fresh players to come onto the pitch. When subbing on, you have to enter in an onside position in what's called the gate. This is the 10-metre channel from both sides of the pitch, and you have to enter onto the pitch and off the pitch through this gate as well. A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be
3 games to go here at Oxford in the opening day of the final round of the Belief Elite National Touch Series. Thames Valley Vikings playing from left to right in the all blue, up against CSSC 1, who are in the turquoise and slightly darker blue. They're playing from right to left, 2 wins from 2 so far today. And we've seen both of those wins here on Field 1 during the course of the day. First outing of the day for Thames Valley Vikings on this particular field, and they concede a set of 6 to CSSC. Finalists in Banbury 2 rounds ago, and semi-finalists in Manchester 2 weeks ago. CSSC 1 have improved massively year on year from last year, especially with their experience being shown, and that's a dive for the line by Bex Maxwell, and the opening score of the game.
Pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in...
And that score is indeed given. So CSSC 1 beat Hot Custard 5-4, first game of the day. Last player of the game to win it as well, and then we saw them beat Chester Cheetahs a couple of hours ago, 6-4. Meanwhile, Thames Valley Vikings lost to Hot Custard 12-5 and also lost to Chester Cheetahs in their opening game of the day. Missing some of their more experienced players this weekend, the Vikings from just down the road in Reading. But here they go through the middle. Charlie Newton. One of the core of the Vikings club. Ball just hits the deck. CSSC having held out. Clear. Lois Lau heads up to halfway and almost over it. Chris Wall, baseball cap on for the first time today. The England men's 35's captain gets the ball, takes it up into midfield. Off the deck comes Nick Southgate. Back to Wall. Gets touched on the way round Tyke Brennan. But Vikings still concede the penalty. Wall takes the tap. Eyeing up. Very, very patient, the England man. Second touch, still 5 metres out. CSSC. See George Miller from CSSC 2 just making his way up to the commentary box to join me. Hopefully he's had a considerable amount of fluids and paid a visit to the hydration station. But we'll catch up with him in just a second, just after this attack from CSSC. Nick Southgate goes off to the right. Is that ball down? Yes, it is, and CSSC are on the board. For the second time. First time went round onto the white to Bex Maxwell. That time, Evan Michaels. George.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's how's it? Is it getting any easier? out there?
Definitely not getting any easier. I'd say it's definitely getting harder. In fact, I may be in a state of delirium, so apologies for any nonsense that comes out.
Another good win for you, though.
That was one of the hardest games I've ever played. It was a one-score second half, and we didn't seem to want to get off our own line in defence. They put a huge amount of pressure on us, and it was amazing to come away with the win.
When you were up in the box a short while ago, when I say short, it feels like a short while ago. It was a couple of hours ago,
yeah,
90 minutes ago. We were talking about the prospect of playing against Cambridge with their mixture of experience and youth. Is that win something of a, given that it's Cambridge's first team in CSSC 2, are you surprised by that win, or is that something that you were expecting going into it?
We knew it was going to be a tough and close game. With the number of players we've got at CSSC, I mean, it's almost interchangeable at times between first and second team. And it seems like we've found a couple of teams now that really gel well together.
That ball is loss of control.
It would be a close game to see the ones play the twos, I think, at the moment.
It would. You never know. It may happen tomorrow.
Yeah, it may do.
Just when you have that kind of in those kind of games. So I think the ones played the twos in Manchester a few weeks ago.
Yes, they did.
How much banter is there out in the field? Is it something where we'd love to be able to mic some people up?
I think we run when we're it's like a training game that matters, and it tends to go the other way of just hard running, and no one can get a word out. So I'd like to say, yeah, the banter's flying back and forth, it's hilarious, but actually it's probably just grunting that you'd be able to hear.
And especially if it comes to the later stages tomorrow, where it is going to be, the forecast is for it to be sunny, but considerably cooler, maybe 10, 12 degrees cooler than it is today. It's going to be a heavy night. Well, it's going to be obviously a heavy workload for everybody, but in terms of this evening then, how are you going to recover? Is it finding an ice bath somewhere, a pool somewhere, or just a couple of cold ones in a lovely Oxfordshire countryside pub?
I think we've got a couple of players who used to be based in Oxford, so there's we're splitting up depending on where people are staying. Some are actually going back to London. I imagine it's because their ice baths and cryogenic chambers of choice are in London, and the lot that are staying up here are going to go find some food, have a bit of downtime.
Of course, when you say the ice baths, is that more like the absolute ice cave on Regent Street? Anyway. Regardless, we've got an early start tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. You can tune into then on the England Touch YouTube channel and the website as Vikings.
Strong drive up the middle.
Get some pace going through the middle. And and they win a penalty as well. Good bit of driving play.
Rob Budd, reffing in the middle there, just reffed our game. He must be warm. Hot Rob.
Hot Rog, I did mention that to Hot Rog after the game.
Hot Rog knows he's called Hot Rog. He signs himself off as Hot Rog at times.
I would never have heard Robin Budd described as Hot Rob in the past. As the
He's just too modest.
Stretch the play.
That's a good ball. Bex Maxwell not able to make the shot.
And that's the Vikings' first score of the day, or first score of the match. Ty Brennan diving over for the score. Bringing it back to CSSC 2, Thames Valley Vikings 1. CSSC. Restart through Naomi Fairnett. Andrew Dyer gets the ball off the floor. We've seen him score a couple of touchdowns on here today. And that's a loss of control from Henry Stratford. Especially taking the touch when there was no touch, and Vikings will restart with a penalty. I think it's referee Andrew Martin in the middle as well. Our assistant referees manager with England Touch. A fine local Australian accent on him as well. When you're getting Australian referees, how different is it to, we'll come back to that in a second, just as we see Charles Newton on the scoop, but that ball was off the mark. You've got to play the ball you've got to roll the ball from where you were touched. Vikings went over the mark by a good chunk, and CSSC restart. So the difference in referees between English and Australian or New Zealand, especially at international level as well.
The Australians seem to call bigger fives than we're used to generally. They're all fairly similar. The quality of refs at the World Cup was obviously excellent, and you could tell that the Australians are very used to playing with extremely fast and highly skilled teams. Their knowledge of where to be for the next play is probably slightly higher than ours. The English refs are definitely getting there, and the number of full-time refs we've got out there in the full kit, rather than the player refs of yesteryear, is brilliant.
How much difference does that make as well to the quality of the game? Especially, you're coming up here, you are absolutely dripping, and you guys have worked off so many calories, as we see Vikings set up camp on the CSSC line in the 5-metre area. Ask that question again of you in just a second, as we see Vikings going wide. Ball gets spun out from Jason Grace, but it hits the deck. It's gone forward anyway, and CSSC restart with a penalty on their own 5-metre line. Just in terms of the quality of play when you're actually in the middle of the game, when you've got a player refereeing who's maybe played in a couple of games and reffed in a couple by the end of the day when it's hot like this.
Yeah, I mean, fitness definitely comes into it, and when you've run as much as the players and refs have, obviously you're more likely to be a bit slower to get there. So yeah, having the full-time refs who are just reffing, always switched on, got a good support base with the other refs, tent to go to, definitely makes a difference.
And again, just with your more experienced hat on, as Evan Michaels takes the touch and gets the ball straight back. In a word, how tough is it to be a player ref on a day like today?
It's just the words you never want to hear. Going to need a player ref after you just come off a game and you just look around forlornly when they're looking at you.
Everybody else runs away and running back at CSSC. Bex Mackwell's second of the half.
Still had a lot to do. Good outline, caught the ball, stepped back inside around the winger and found the space, got over the line. It's a great score from Bex Maxwell.
Winger did everything in terms of covering, but was lacking some support from the link on the inside perhaps.
Yeah,
but
you just need to all chase out there, because if anything steps back, it's the player inside that's got to do that. So the wing's just going to look up and think, oh, I've done all I can.
Thames Valley Vikings are up under the cosh and up against it. They've lost both of their games today against Hot Custard and Chester, but they're keeping the ball alive, still looking to play. Sixth touch though made on Josh Henderson
by Andrew Dyer. A very long person.
And CSSC take it up hard through the middle. Naomi Fairnett was the first. That time's Henry Stratford. Back to Fairnett. Colin Scott.
Henry's going to have a go here. Oh no.
We talked in our last stint together in the commentary box about Henry Stratford's ability to both dance but also communicate with the referee, and you could see there he was asking, is the Vikings player onside? Can I go through? Do I have to pass it? Great communication there all round from player and official, and honestly there from the Vikings players as well.
He earned himself the nickname of Dory from his ability to run into the end zone, look for a player, not find a player, run back out of the end zone, and just keep swimming.
Charlie Newton, that ball's gone forwards. That will be a restart.
Rob Budd looking glad of the breather in the middle. Good interchange from the refs. He's standing on the mark.
And slowly but surely makes his way over. Wonder if he's got a Fitbit on. He might take a little snap of that for Instagram after, if he has. CSSC have held out, now making meters up. As one of the hallmarks of their previous game was the amount of yardage they made in front of their sub box to get the fresh players on and give them momentum, and that's exactly what's happened again. Evan Michaels takes
got him
the
behind
Chris
there.
Wall off the floor, looking for support on the left. He goes to the left. Is this a fresh set of six?
Looks like they're playing ball to ground there.
No, it's not. Loss of control, ball to ground, as you say, George. Vikings escaped that time, but it's looking ominous for them, isn't it? And Vikings compound the error there with Becky Anderson. They were looking to do the same thing by getting some good pace up in front of their sub box, but Anderson just stepped on the whitewash, and it's a turnover and a restart for CSSC. Tom Hall takes the ball in. Lois Lau gets it off the floor to Chris Wall. Back to Lau in the middle, something we saw a lot of in the previous game. CSSC mixing and matching their links and their mids, their ball playing players. Wall dives for the line. Touch on the way through. No is the answer, and the touchdown is given. CSSC, another try on the board.
Chris Wall's got a great dive. He's scored a lot from the 32 short. The sweeper with the dive. They're just a feedback, and he beats his man on the outside. And has the ability to select whether to go low or high to get away from the touch. He's very evasive.
That when it comes to this stage of the competition, and where there are three pools and the top 8 ranked, so the winners and the runners up, and then the next placed, especially when are you now starting to look at the other pools in the competition in terms of what your score difference needs to be, what your percentage, your tries for, tries against?
I think in an ideal world, you'll be able to look at that. Obviously, in an ideal world, you win all your games, so go through first. At the moment, we're both in the fortunate position of being there for CSSC. Oh, penalty dropping early there.
But that'll mean you'll end up in the same half of the draw, so you might not meet until the semi-finals tomorrow. Yes.
So, no, we just take each game as it comes, try and win them by as many as we can, get the easier run to the final.
I promise everybody listening at home that you haven't just had my my seminar on smart communications and answering one question at a time. As Vikings put some more pressure together. They've had a few opportunities, just haven't been able to make the most of them as CSSC's defence shuts them down. Lucy Richardson. Tyg Brennan, scorer of a try. Lucy Richardson just overruns the pass off the floor from Jason Grace. And CSSC will keep things controlled and going up through the middle again. Naomi Finn and Henry Stratford.
Dances around the winger, makes it on the link behind.
Colin Scott over the halfway line. Lois Lau up to the 10-metre line. Good meters here from CSSC. They've got one more touch after this one to play with. Evan Michaels gets the ball to Tom Hall. His own dancing feet. Touching player is onside. That is the 6th touch and the turnover. But from end to end in 6 touches, that's textbook from CSSC. Vikings.
Getting a penalty, I think Andy shot a bit too early there.
Through Tyg Brennan. Brings the ball out. And up over the halfway line. Becky Anderson and Brennan, and now Charles Newton. Becky Anderson off the floor.
Lucy Neal Hook driving in here, very fast player.
And Charles Newton as well. Got great ability to scoop and to accelerate for a tall man. Fantastic ability to have. Very lithe would be the best way of putting it. The ability to get down and then straight back up again. Need to have...
It's proving more and more difficult every game I play. Lois and Claire combining well. Naomi made a lot of meters there. Chris Wall's back on the pitch with Henry. A little check back, get on the back middle. Henry's fed back to Chris, who's going to pile in. Pass gives him a little bit too many beans, and Claire unable to contain that one.
Just in terms of the fitness aspect of it, how much of the pre-World Cup fitness has stayed with you?
It depends on the player. We've generally all kept playing. NTS has come straight into it, so in our club at least, fitness has stayed reasonably high. With people who had a bit of a niggle at the World Cup, so had to take a couple of weeks off. It's obviously dropped off a bit, but generally the touch fitness is fairly strong. A lot of them are still keeping up with. We had a brilliant S&C strength and conditioning program. The players in the World Cup. And I know a few of our club at least are keeping up with that sort of the last phases of it to maintain a good touch fitness. We're also fortunate enough to have Lynn Cantwell in our camp, who was a former Irish international rugby union player and now a physio, and she put together a strength and conditioning program for our club.
Just in terms of when you're talking about the fitness programs that you're given by the England Touch medical team and the S&C team, what does that mean in practice? Is it interval training? Is it long blocks? Is it a combination of the two? Is it do a long bit in the morning, come back in a couple of hours time? What does it mean in practice?
It was very good. It was realistic and it came in phases. So there were different documents sent out, and the first there would be agility, there'd be proprioception to sort of prevent injuries, there'd be fitness, which is related to touch games, so where you've got the backpedaling, the stop-start nature of it, that sort of thing. Who to go? It's half time.
Last player of the game for CSS. Last player of the half, sorry, from CSSC 1. They are up 3-1 at the half. We're just going to get a little bit of water, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes' time.
You can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
that penalty is as a result of an act of cheating, be it a forward pass.
Yeah, that's forward there, mate. Forward pass there.
A heavy touch, rolling the ball forward of the mark that you had touched.
You're gonna be with me. Here's your fifth. That's off the mark.
Being offside.
Yes, 7. You're gonna be on the scoreline at the touch. Scoreline. Nope, she's not made it. Okay. Need both feet on the line, please.
And also, disrespecting the referee.
Touch is made up of 3 positions on the field. You've got a wing, a link and a mid. That is replicated on the other side of the pitch, so you have 2 sets of each.
Yeah, the right time for a referee to interchange with his sideline buddy is when they're approximately 15, maybe 20 metres from the sideline, and it's at the right time for the play.
I've got you if they come, Ray. All the way back, Link. Link, no. Yeah, Ray, I've got you here, mate. Back to me, middle. For 8, yes. Shoot is good. Third with me here.
Teamwork comprises of many factors for the referees. A lot of it is communication with the players.
Take it back 2 meters, blue, please. 2 meters back. Thank you. Hold here.
Cat go 1.
Yeah, roll, that's fine. Look for me. First is with me. Here it is. 27, 2 meters. Yes, good there. Look for me for second.
The sideline ref's always communicating with the players.
All the way back to the ref now. 9, 9, 1 step. 9 offside. Look for the ref next touch.
And at the appropriate time, we'll communicate with the on-field referee when a critical decision needs to be assisted.
Have a look at the ref at the next touch again. You're just in front of the line. 12, no. Good, 12. All good here, Jonathan.
The development of referees is quite rigorous. There are 5 levels in the fit level system. The entry level is level 1, level 5 is the highest. So to progress from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, there's a theory exam plus a practical assessment. And when you go from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, that has to be done at an elite tournament, like a nationals tournament or a Euros.
Second half of this elite pool game between Thames Valley Vikings, playing from right to left as we look against CSSC 1. CSSC 1 are up by 2. This is their final game of the day. I'm joined by George Miller from CSSC 2, who's giving me some salacious gossip about his club mates during the break, which we're not going to talk about now.
No, but if anyone who knows any of my teammates is watching at home, could they text them and ask them to bring me some food?
That's people at that's in the clubhouse especially. But if you're over and we can see the rest of the CSSC team about 60 metres away on the other side of field 2 behind us.
I've been emphatically waving at them for half time, but got nothing.
We have been. We will send somebody over, George. Just looking ahead to our next game for a second, we've got London Scorpions up against BBR, which is going to be one of the games of the day, if not the weekend, do you think?
Yeah, it could be. Scorp's obviously missing a couple of their big name ball players in Dom Henry and Zan Hudson, to name 2. But they look like a strong team in the last game I saw, though I hear they went down against Galaxy in their first game, so it is a must-win game for Scorps. Yeah,
it was Galaxy won by a couple, and then Scorps beat Oxford in their second game. It's a friend of mine's playing for Oxford. He did say we were talking during the break about that being the pool of death. I think he messaged me a couple of days ago, so we're going to have lots of fun on Saturday.
Yeah.
Scorpions, Galaxy and BBR.
That's
all
a
in the
pool
same
no one wants to be in, and it's a tough break for Galaxy, who found themselves in the tough pool with 3 strong teams in NTS 1.
But the thing is, you say that in terms of that it's a pool of death, but it shows the strength in depth across this competition and the consistency across this whole competition.
Absolutely, any team can beat any team at the moment, it seems. Given this a slightly different roll of the dice, and things can go the other way. Our game against Cambridge, Cambridge consistently sort of top 4 in the country, and our second team managed to beat them today.
And Cambridge had drawn with Nottingham in their first game as well.
And again, Nottingham, a great team, another young team that have really built up over the years, and they were a massive surprise for us in round 1, and they've just shown that they've carried it on. So no pool, I don't think, is an easy one. It's hard to be in the so-called pool of death, but there isn't an easy pool to be in.
CSSC now leading by 3. And here comes Colin Scott. Lois Lau putting himself back in the middle, so getting a lot of ball playing in this game. And they get a penalty as well. Vikings.
Not making the line there.
So Scott brings the ball out, gives themselves a little bit of room to play with. Now off the deck to Colin Scott.
I think Colin expected a link to be there. I think Andy thought he was meant to be sweeping. A little bit of miscommunication in between the middles and the links there.
And Scott, as we see, Andrew Dyer now coming off his player, going to the left, trying to create some space, stretching the Thames Valley Vikings. Everybody staying very patient, just going through some patterns, just probing into the Vikings rear guard. Colin Scott gets the ball away, but the touch there from Becky Anderson. We saw her on the other side.
Oh, touch and pass given. Colin giving a slightly late pass.
Wouldn't have counted. Anyway, so here come Vikings. They've escaped that time. Charles Newton, it's a long way down. He's all right though. Gets a bit of a breather, takes on some fluids in the sub box. And great defence there from CSSC.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. Stopped at halfway, and they've essentially got a restart from
Andrew Dyer, and now Lois Lau. Henry Stratford. Claire Waddell feeds Lois Lau. Back to Naomi Fairner, the CSSC women making inroads into the Vikings defence. Here comes Tom Hall. Now Evan Michaels. Hall looking for support. There are players over. It goes wide to Claire Waddell. Is this going to be given? Long chat.
Deemed to be ball on the ground, though Claire Waddell has definitely come away with it.
Loss of control, and Vikings will come away with the ball. Can you nip over to the CSSC though? Just see if it's food. Off goes Craig, our bouncer.
Security.
We're sending him over with to make an offer they can't refuse over in the CSSC camp. As the Ones are defending against Thames Valley Vikings, they've got a healthy lead. So it's about as much about game management now as in terms of scoring tries. As Charles Newton goes for the line, just gets touched on the way through. Evan Michaels stretching out. We were talking last time about Andrew Dyer never making a touch vertically. He's always horizontal.
Yeah, and Evan Michael also another one who doesn't like the skin on his shoulders and knees.
Newton though, now one of the Vikings playmakers, finds himself in the middle. Ball gets away, but
offside given.
That's a quick take there. from the Vikings. Lucy Richardson now becomes involved, finds Charles Newton. He's just getting touched on the way through. Vikings. Again, pushing and probing. This time shut down by Naomi Fairnett.
Great communications in defence between the middles and the link, knowing that the middle had shut in, so she had to make the touch coming in there. It leaves the outside space a bit more open, but that shows the harder pass for the Thames Valley Vikings to make.
Great defence by CSSC 1. One of the hallmarks, we saw it against Chester as well in the previous game. Now Naomi Fairnett made a crucial touch, takes play up to halfway. Bex Maxwell points Chris Wall into the Vikings half. Lois Lau, juggling skills. Bex Maxwell off the deck. Here comes Henry Stratford, Andrew Dyer.
A bit of space there.
And it's gone wide left. There are players over. Lois Lau is one of them. There is absolutely no debating that score and the quality of it.
It just goes to show how much momentum, how difficult it is to defend against. There was nothing particularly flair shown in there by CSSC, but a solid drive up the middle just means that the defence are rolling back. They've just had a bit of time attacking, so they've been on the pitch for quite a while. You get fresh attackers on, and it's really difficult to stop.
Extends CSSC's lead to 4-1.
A bit of a cushion now.
7 minutes played in the second half. But this Vikings pull one back. Still plenty to play for in this game. One of the youngsters in their team. Much needed from the Vikings.
I think at 4-1 it begins to become a bit of an uphill struggle, so they'll be pleased to get one back and keep themselves in the game.
So, CSSC's lead back down to 2. Lois Lau, scorer of their last try, stays here on their right. Colin Scott finds Chris Wall, wide right to Alexandra Willis.
That's a great score.
Really simple, really effective. CSSC's lead back out to 3 all of a sudden.
They made that one look easy, didn't they?
Sometimes the best scores and the most simple scores do look that easy.
Yes. They'll be pleased with that. It's a variant on a play that a lot of clubs run at the moment, the ML or hammer. And that time they dummied the player that the normal strike player and fed back to the person who'd taken the touch before. And when the defence are expecting the strike play to come on the other side, it makes it a lot more of a chase to get out. Nice long pass from Vikings there.
Good hands from Richardson. Ball comes back in. Jason Grace.
Another long ball. That one to ground, unfortunately.
And Tyke Brennan's put on a hat now. So, nice bucket hat in the middle. Very trendy, very on trend. Naomi Fairnett finds Claire Waddell. Now Henry Stratford as CSSC gets some momentum going and some fresh players on. Lois Lau, Waddell, Nick Southgate, back to Lau, now Colin Scott, Alexandra Willis hugging the near side touchline. Evan Michaels finds Colin Scott. You could see, we could hear it up here, Jason Grace's disappointment with himself.
And you've got experience and youth combining in the middle there with Evan and Colin to score a nice one on the outside. And again, that's momentum. Really difficult to stop when the attack starts rolling over.
And CSSC's lead up to 4. You could also hear from where we were, you could hear the referee calling Jason Grace back as well. He knew he was offside, couldn't make the touch.
One of the easier touches for Naomi Fernett.
Ball comes wide out. Thames Valley Vikings not giving up. Just CSSC are just keeping them at a healthy, comfortable arm's distance.
I think CSSC will be happy with this. They're forcing Thames Valley to throw the long pass. It's the hardest option to make. A couple of them are faded forward. A lot of them are gone to ground. And it's a good place to be in.
Henry Stratford takes play into the Vikings half.
And there's an intercept. Is he going to make it?
Nice. Score of the previous game. Front scored their previous one. I think it's Kai Andrew. Scored their previous touchdown and gets the other one. Comes up with the interception. Good bit of anticipation. Created by some good play from the Vikings in terms of slowing down the CSSC guys. CSSC will restart. Still got a healthy lead in this game as George Miller from CSSC2 gets a much needed bit of fuel on board after his exploits with CSSC2 in their last game. And Claire Waddell, this is going to be a touch and pass given, I think. Just there's going to be a little bit of attention for the Vikings player on the far side. You can't be too careful. Victoria Chu comes on. Play will restart with a penalty for the late pass. Vikings come up through Tyke Brennan. Brennan gets the ball off the floor. Now Jason Grace. Josh Henderson heavily involved, especially now. Back to Grace. Takes a touch, Vikings. Brennan comes left to create space for Josh Henderson. But CSSC's defence stays firm, lots of chat. Lots of patience, no holes, more importantly. Now they come out through Evan Michaels. Lois Lau takes play up to halfway. Naomi Fairnett. Get the feeling that CSSC are going to be familiar faces on this field tomorrow, especially if they carry on playing the way they are. Penalty given in midfield, CSSC. I think CSSC were wondering if that was going to be given for overstepping the mark, but it's not. It's gone against the Vikings. Chris Wall trots up to the 5-metre line. Lots of chat with Tom Hall about what they're going to try and do to the Vikings defence. Wall. Naomi Fairnett, ball hits the floor. Turnover. Jason Grace will restart. Josh Henderson and Tyke Brennan. Jason Grace goes straight. Back comes Lucy Neal Hook. And Brennan.
Better drive from Thames Valley.
Got a sandwich inside you now, much needed.
Yeah, I feel like a new man.
Charles Newton goes through and he's the half.
Asked for deviation. Tom Hall deemed to have made it back before he broke his line.
In terms of on a day like today, especially when it's the first tournament in England this year that's been this hot. In terms of the hydration, how much fluid are you taking on board? How much food are you needing to do? Is it a case of staggering it out through the day, or did you have a massive breakfast this morning, or is every player different?
I think every player is different. Some people don't eat enough. Obviously, you've got to take on the energy to be able to run. Hydration's most important, keeping cool. And yeah, I think most people would have had a decent feed last night. sort of slow release carbs during the day, so you don't end up with some sort of sugar high followed by a massive low.
As Hannah Chris from BBR walks past, gives me some banter for holding up an umbrella, which we haven't got a shade up here in the commentary box. So
On the hottest day of the year.
On the hottest day of the year so far. Temperatures nudging 30-35 degrees. Lucy Neal Hook keeps the pace up. Massive credit to all of the players. Jason Grace keeps on going. It's half, 6 touch, half court.
Take your pick.
1 roll ball. So we'll be seeing BBR up next against London Scorpions in the next game. And the last one of the day at 3:50 is going to be...
It's us again.
I think it is.
Yeah, CSSC 2.
Against Nottingham Hoods. So again, that's going to be one not to miss.
Absolutely. Tell your family and friends.
Yeah, actually definitely do. Crack open a couple, stick the barbecue on.
And we'll see if age and treachery can score another one over youth and talent.
The thing is, the older you get, the more you prefer to have the youth and talent.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't ever say youth and pace in my instance, because I never had the pace. Had the youth, never the pace. Scored a try from 50 metres in a sevens game once. Though,
Nice. And you're still holding on to it. It's
yeah,
good.
I am, absolutely. It's more to the point. It's the way it was written up in the school newspaper by our games teacher. It's the Wearmouth 50-yard waddle, which
Wow.
didn't live down at the time.
That's one to have framed on your
Yeah, never
on the
lived,
dining room wall.
didn't live it down at the time. Haven't lived it down since. The old man always reminds me when I'm watching when we're watching sevens.
Still did it though, 50 yards.
You know what? And they carried over a player at the end as well. So I got caught but didn't stop. So, you know, well, it was one of the very few tries I scored when I was playing rugby union. And so you always remember them. Colin Scott, back to matters at hand, CSSC. I think we can safely say that this game is won already, but it's going to be a question of how many. It's Naomi Fernert takes play deep into the Vikings half. She's made more metres than Vikings would have wanted to allow. Tom Hall. And they get a penalty. We can hear up from here, 40 metres away, Robin Budd there, hollering through about to the Vikings defence.
I think one of them made it back, but there are a couple others before, so CSSC got a penalty again.
We have 90 seconds still to play. As CSSC's Evan Michaels dives for the line.
He's got a brilliant dive on him.
And let's say with the last minute to play, is this very much a banana skin avoided for CSSC one in terms of going into the last game of the day and the temperature, and if you've won the first couple of games and you know you could have taken Vikings a little bit lightly, so is it a banana skin avoided or just a job well done?
I think it's got to be a job well done. Thames Valley are never a team to be taken lightly. They run hard. They have run hard at us, and I think it's been good defence from CSSC that's held them out. It hasn't been poor play on their part by any stretch of the imagination. They've really moved us around, and there's been some quality balls like that, and it's just been one of those days that hasn't quite come off for them. And
where they're missing some of their more experienced players, the Dan Harrisons, the Sammy Phillipses, people like that who've either been playing for England or been part of the England training squads, the regional squads. Missing those kind of players is key when you're coming up against a team as experienced as CSSC.
Yes, I think you can't afford to miss your chances when you're missing some of the players that have the experience and the sort of ability to calm things down, which has been noticed.
Well, as you say, job done for CSSC, one in the final play of the game. George, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you in about an hour and 20 minutes time for your game against Nottingham Hoods. He's got some fuel on board already, but he's going to go and now spend some time in the shade, get some liquid on. We will have a look back at some of the scores from this game in the next couple of minutes, and we'll be back with the big one. London Scorpions against BBR in just a couple of minutes time. Do not go anywhere.
Just a quick reminder, if you have a game, it is on pitch 2, it is now in front of the marquee. Try to keep yourself hydrated as much as you can. Try to stay off the foot. As much sunscreen as you can. Second warning. 30-second warning.
So welcome back to Oxford for the penultimate game of round 3 here, the Belief Elite National Touch Series. So here we go, our penultimate game of the day. Bareback Riders, also commonly known as BBR, taking on London Scorpions. We haven't seen BBR in action today, but we all know how a formidable side they are, and London Scorpions, of course, we've seen them a couple of times today on pitch number 1. And I'm delighted to say for this game I'm joined by CSSC London 1's Chris Wall. Chris, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good
Exhausted
day.
after that last game. Far too hot for it. But
it certainly is, isn't it? It's absolutely blistering compared to the last 2 weekends we've had in Banbury and Manchester.
It's a big change from Manchester. I don't know which one I prefer.
Well, yeah, the rain-soaked Manchester compared to the sun-soaked Oxford. It's certainly been a bit of a difference here today. But overall, how do you feel your day's gone with CSSC London today?
It's good. So we got our 3 wins out of 3. We haven't always played our best touch, but getting the win when you're not playing well is the key thing. And actually, tomorrow, if we can turn it on, then see how far we can go.
Yeah, how are the team feeling ahead of tomorrow? Of course, you're saying that you've got 3 wins on the bounce. How are they all feeling?
So I think morale-wise, we're feeling good. We're low on numbers this weekend, so we actually only came with 7 boys, 5 girls, and then one of our boys wasn't feeling too good, so we've been playing with just the 6. And in these kind of conditions, it's really tough.
Well, there we go. BBR taking on London Scorpions. London Scorpions looking to try and get on the scoreboard early doors. This will be some upset. It's BBR, always a really strong outfit, aren't they, every time?
Absolutely. So we've played them in the last 2 rounds. And they're the team to beat. We played all right in the first round against them at Banbury, got to the final, and they pulled away. And then last round, we were really disappointed not to get the win. I think we were 3 points up with about 5 minutes to play, and then they showed what a good team they are and really turned on the style to get the win. So fingers crossed tomorrow, if we can get them at some stage, then this could be the round where we get.
Well, apologies if you have just come onto the stream and there's been no pictures, just had a bit of technical difficulties, but we're now back up and running here in Oxford, and the score currently stands at BBR 3, London Scorpions 1, and BBR already showing the early signs of intent of looking to try and go as far as they can in this tournament. Laying off to Clark, Emily Irons coming in. Well, she took a nasty fall. She went in for that try though. Emily Irons made of sterner stuff. Yeah, just looking at that defence for BBR, well drilled as always. London Scorpions looking to try and go through. Matthew Clark in the centre, going up to go left. Clark gets it back. Laid it off to Partridge. Partridge on a turnover in play. Back in favour of BBR. Here's Charlie Brett. That Scottish duo, Charlie Brett and Lewis Burns, the Brett and Burns show sometimes, as we've seen in previous weekends. Here's Lewis Burns, jinking one way then the next. Brett with a little sidestep going to his right. Oh, and a touch just on that far side, just stops any momentum, but Burns back into the centre now. Brett picks it up and then Burns now looking to go left, looks to go on, looks for Hannah Crisp, but it goes over Hannah's head and it's a turnover. And it's back in favour of London Scorpions, who've had a real mixed day. They lost their opening game and then won their second game very comprehensively against Oxford by 14 points to 3. But what's the secret? Is there any secret really in trying to stop this BBR side? What do you, when you go into games against them, what do you normally look for?
It's hard because they're just so well drilled and got really experienced players in there. So I think the strength when we were getting up on them was just driving really hard, and we've got some of the pace players who had the legs to get round them, but we just couldn't keep that up for the full 40 minutes. But as I say, whatever you throw at them, they can adapt. They got really experienced, smart players who know how to adjust their style of play. But they're certainly not unbeatable. Well, I hope they're not unbeatable. maybe tomorrow we'll find out.
Well, BBR looking to try and add another one, and they certainly do. So that's their 4th point on the board for BBR, and already showing their early dominance.
So it's really good to see Scorps back for this round. Obviously they've been missing from rounds 1 and 2. They're a great team. I think they're getting in some new players now, so it's a bit of a different Scorpions team, but they are really strong. We played them on Thursday night at London Super League, and yeah, they're a quality side.
Second London Scorpions over the BBR 10 metre. Justin Conway trying to push forward, trying to get us some yardage through the middle, but BBR's defence, as always, so well organised. Mark Knight there just stopping any attack from happening. Good arcing run into the middle. Now Partridge laying it off. Partridge in the thick of things again, and a dive forward. And a try for London Scorpions, and they are back in this game. A well-worked try, a nice move. And again, BBR having their lead reduced. Here comes Hannah Crisp through the middle, laying it off. Finlay Lockhart. Lewis Burns, Charlie Brett, Burns and Brett linking up again. There's Finlay Lockhart, Hannah Crisp, and stopped just on the line. Good defensive work once again from London Scorpions. Lewis Burns now. Options to the right and to the left, and here comes Charlie Brett, lays it back off to Burns. Burns looking left, looking for Charlie Brett. Charlie Brett dives as he takes it.
Yeah, this is some really good defence from Scorpions. If they can just keep them out for this set, then they can try and work their way back into the game.
Charlie Brett looking to go wide. Can they finish the job off as the touch come in just in time? I think the referee looks like he's going to give it. He certainly does. And it's a well-worked move. Charlie Brett with that pass over to that far side, and it was a great take and a good finish.
Yeah, that was a great score. When you got the feet, but you've also got the pass, you got so many options, and they did that to us a few times in the previous rounds.
Here comes Scorpions. Justin Conway's in the middle, but he goes past him, looking to make that arcing run once again, looking for an option. There's Matthew Clark. Clark back into the centre, trying to find Bronte Sykes. Bronte Sykes looking left, and again curving that run, almost the banana run that they've called it in previous weeks. Richard Eccles there just getting stopped before the try line, trying to work their way into the goal zone. Here's Richard Eccles to the right, who's Matthew Clark, who's there to the left. Matthew Clark, and just that lack of communication just lets them down. And look at BBR straight away, Mark Knight involved. Finlay Lockhart dancing his way through, picked up by Burns. Nice little run through the middle, and here's Burns looking to go right, and it's just touched by Matthew Clark. But they're just so quick at BBR from one end of the pitch to the other, aren't they?
Yeah, they're young, they're very quick. I wish I could still do that, but I'm getting on a bit now. And in this heat, yeah, it's been a real struggle, but yeah, they seem to be coping fine with it for now.
Yeah, the temperatures do cool slightly tomorrow, by about 11 or 12 degrees at the moment. We're reaching heights of 32 degrees. It is sweltering here in Oxford, as it is all around the country. Picked up by Oliver Wu, looking to go over the top. But the poor pass and poor take, and the attack is over. So BBR starting from their own half once again, looking to try and add to that lead. Can they just get another couple before half time? About 5.5 minutes left to play until the half time interval. Here's Hannah Crisp, always lively when she's on the ball, looking to try and create an opportunity. Hobson looking to go. Here is Hobson, says no, and the score for London Scorpions. Good honesty there from Hannah Crisp.
Yeah, there was some really nice footwork there and a great dive for the finish.
So it was. And with just under 4 minutes remaining, BBR leading by 6 points to 3. Still plenty of time left in this game. Long way to go. Lewis Burns picked up by Finley Lockhart. Lewis Burns once again just retreating from the line. And Finley Lockhart looking just to try and create a move now. Nice pick up by Lewis Burns. Finley Lockhart looks to go wide, and another really good try. Well, from London Scorpions, at the moment it's a case of you score, we score. And we're back to only a 3 points advantage. BBR leading by 7 points to 4.
Yeah, that was great. Keeps them in it. I'd say if they can get one more before half time, then they might fancy their chances of a comeback in the second half.
Influence known in the middle there. Now here's Burns, slowing things right down. Finley Lockhart, Lewis Burns lays it off to Charlie Brett. Now with Burns again, back with Lockhart, looking to go again, and once again they do it every time. London Scorpions getting caught out on that far side, and at the moment the wingers are having an absolute field day.
Yeah, Scorpions will have to have a chat at half time, think about how they start defending that. But then, you know, with BBR, as soon as you do start defending that one, then they'll have options elsewhere.
Absolutely, they can attack from any angle, really. They're a well-drilled side, a very talented team. So are London Scorpions, and if they can just build up a bit of momentum, maybe get the next 2 tries and just put a bit of pressure on BBR. Justin Conway. Light blue cap on, he's been wearing all day. Matthew Clark now looking to try and work an angle. Oh, and looking for support. Oh, and just that pass just going astray. It was Richard Eccles. And there is the half-time klaxon, and that is half-time as the referee brings it to a close. And it's BBR who lead at the break. It's been one of those clinical displays from BBR. London Scorpions are still in this though. It's going to be an intriguing final 20 minutes of our penultimate game of the day. Get yourself a drink, and if you're outside, top up that tan. Make sure you've got plenty of sun cream on, and we'll be back with you for the second half in a couple of moments' time.
A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be downward pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in touch, you can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
A penalty is as a result of an act of cheating, be it a forward pass.
Yeah, that's forward there, mate. Forward pass there.
A heavy touch. Rolling the ball forward of the mark that you had touched.
You're gonna be with me. Here's your fifth. That's off the mark.
Being offside.
Yes, 7. You're going to be on the scoreline at the touch. Scoreline! Nope, she's not made it. Okay. Need both feet on the line, please.
And also, disrespecting the referee.
Touch is made up of 3 positions on the field. You've got a wing, a link and a mid. That is replicated on the other side of the pitch, so you have 2 sets of each.
Yeah, the right time for a referee to interchange with his sideline buddy is when they're approximately 15, maybe 20 metres from the sideline, and it's at the right time for the play.
I've got you if they come, Ray. All the way back, Link. Link, no. Yeah, Ray, I've got you here, mate. Back to me, middle. For 8, yes. Shoot is good. Third with me here.
Teamwork comprises of many factors for the referees. A lot of it is communication with the players.
Take it back 2 metres, blue, please. 2 metres back. Thank you. Hold here.
Cat go 1.
Yeah, roll, that's fine. Look for me. First is with me. Here it is, 27, 2 metres. Yes, good there. Look at me for second.
The sideline ref's always communicating with the players.
All the way back to the ref now. 9, 1 step, 9 offside. Look for the ref next touch.
And at the appropriate time, we'll communicate with the on-field referee when a critical decision needs to be assisted.
Have a look at the ref at the next touch again. You're just in front of the line. 12, no. Good, 12. All good here, Jonathan.
The development of referees is quite rigorous. There are 5 levels in the fit level system. The entry level is level 1, level 5 is the highest. So to progress from 1 to 2, 2 to 3,
given. But apart from that, everything else was perfect. Devine going forward and tumbling over at the same time, looking to go over to their sub box to get some fresh legs on, and they do as they cross the halfway line. Matthew Clark involved with Justin Conway, and now Clark looking for support. Oh, and a great take. And can they break away? Hannah Crisp stretching her legs, going forward. Lovely pass out to the wide, tap down. Crisp back inside, Charlie Brett laying it off. Now a few new fresh faces come on now. James here on now. Here is once again Whitecap on, looking to switch it, go out wide. And just couldn't find this winger on this near side, couldn't get the pass right, the timing was off, and the opportunity goes. And the Scorpions come forward over their own 10 metre, over the halfway. Nice turn away. Nye Davis. Nye Davis involved in the previous victory early on today, just couldn't scoop it up. Well, we were talking off air about CSSC London and just how great it is to see the club really developing. You mentioned to me you had 3 sides out this weekend. That must be absolutely fantastic to see a club growing in that way.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've had 3 teams at every round, and today our seconds have got a couple of games on this pitch and put some really good performances in. I think our 3s have just come off the back of a draw and they're playing again now. But yeah, it's good to see such strength in depth. We get really good numbers at our training sessions. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow we can keep going well, because I think so far on this show pitch we've had 5 wins out of 5, which is really good.
Yeah, as we just look to the right of us into the distance, CSSC London 3's just currently playing, but back to focus on here, and a really good passage of play, just couldn't execute it in the final pass. But a good opportunity here though for London Scorpions. Fresh set of 6. Now they've got to really make the most of this. Nye Davis looked to attempt to go right, and he does so in the end. Partridge has to go back inside towards Davis. Richard Eccles is there supporting him. Strong and sturdy defence from BBR as always. Can they manage to get through? Nye Davis.
Come on, Henry!
Partridge now looking to go right and left. Here's Emily Crow looking to go inside. Nye Davis picks up Crow once again. No, Emily Irons, I should say, trying to burst forward, looking for support. And oh, there was Emily Crow. Got down to her knees and just was waiting to receive the ball. And just fumbled it. And the critical moment came, but still a good opportunity here for London Scorpions.
Yeah, that was unlucky. They're playing some really good stuff. I think if they can get a score now, they could really work their way back into this game.
Still the pressure being applied by London Scorpions. But turnover in possession, BBR survived that one. Oh, they defend it well as well. And here come BBR, nice move from Charlie Brett. Lewis Burns involved once again, coming forward over their own 10 metre. Over the Scorpions 10 metre line now, slowing things down. Here's Hannah Crisp, looking to go left then right. Finley Lockhart gets the tap. And they stop the attack to London Scorpions. Now a chance from the back here for London Scorpions over their own 10 metre. Look to come inside. Justin Conway now just slows things down and waits for the touch. Emily Crow waiting to take it and passes into the middle. Emily Irons is there. Matthew Clark is there supporting now. Back with Emily Irons. Irons and Clark linking up well in the middle. Irons driving on forward. Looked like an initial heavy touch. Emily Irons brushes it off though. Just being patient with it, London Scorpions, and now here comes Matthew Clark. Oh, they turn over in possession. BBR survive another one.
Yeah, they just lost track of the count there.
Over the halfway line. Anna Crisp straight off the subs box. Picks it up, finds Lewis Burns. James Inon was there, now Charlie Brett, Lewis Burns, that Scottish partnership linking up again in the middle. Lewis Burns, touch back. And London Scorpions defend that one well. And they shut out that attack, and now they can force one of themselves from the back. Heading towards their own 10 metre over at the far side, get some fresh faces on and form the attack once again. Here's Emily Crow. Irons and Crow linking up well again. Now Kai Devine making some really good yardage. Davis linking up Richard Eccles. Nye Davis going through, maybe a chance now. Just need to finish it off, back inside. That was absolutely superb from London Scorpions. One of the tries of the game and potentially one of the tries of the day. Well, Chris, that was a simply brilliant touch rugby.
Yeah, that was a fantastic score. Just saw that little injection of pace and then some great hands, drew the defender, passed it back in. As you say, it could be one of the scores of the day.
Well, London Scorpions get their first try of the second half. Boy, did they need that just to put a bit of pressure. Over 10 minutes remaining then of this second half. Finley Lockhart, Clark Cobson. Oh, and a fumble and a rare error from BBR, and the score at BBR 8, London Scorpions 5. The next score could be absolutely critical. If Scorpions get this, just put a bit of pressure on this BBR side. Here's Matthew Clark.
Yeah, as you say, that was a rare error from BBR, and I think we've seen with this heat, as people have got tired, the mistakes have started to come, particularly in the second half. And it's who's got the ability to keep going that can make the key difference here.
Good run, Hannah Chris just lays it off. Over the 10 metre, Finley Lockhart. James Aon. Just slowing things down with Charlie Brett using all their experience. Mark Knight. James Aon, Hannah Chris coming in. Oh, and she does really well. A fantastic grab and avoided the touch and gets the score, and BBR restore that 4-point lead.
Yeah, she ran a really nice line there, saw the hole, chopped in, good hands and a good score.
Well, it was intelligent and patient build-up from BBR and well finished off by Hannah Crisp. And now here's Partridge for Scorpions. A really well-timed run that was. And a really potentially good score, but a critical touch. But Scorpions want to get things underway really quickly, looking to try and still have that momentum from the attack. Nye Davis, Kai Devine. Davis goes left. Oh, and a good dive towards the line from Kai Devine and wins the point for his side, and we're back to only a 3-point advantage. A competitive second half so far. Just over 8 minutes remaining then until the full-time hooter. Can London Scorpions just put BBR under a little bit of pressure going into these final stages? Good yards. Hobson. Back into the centre, just retreating a tad. BBR just taking their time with it. They have that 3-point lead. Here's Clark Hobson going inside. James Anon. Paul Kelly involved as well. Anon looks to go left, jinks right, but then lays it off to Clark Hobson. Loose ball, but taken well, and BBR still in possession. Oh, and that final pop pass just couldn't be retreated by James Anon. And the opportunity goes begging.
Yeah, that was a good defensive set for Scorpions. Let's see if we can get back up, and they'll really want to score here. They say not long to go. That's not what they wanted.
Over the 10, over the halfway line now, coming forward, making that banana arcing run. just a loose touch, and the turnover for the Scorpions heading towards the halfway line. Good momentum, a really good drive through the middle. Oliver Wu looking to go left and right, just jinx it inside, and now here's Nye Davis, really good pass inside. Oh, but a critical touch. Was it by Lewis Burns? Did he just get in there in the nick of time? I think he did. Still opportunity for the London club. Partridge. Oh, just trying to be fancy there. No look pass, but comes to nothing. And you do feel that London Scorpions have got to be taking some opportunities very soon if they somehow want to get back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they just tried to force that one, and they still had touches left. Just having that composure to set up. They've definitely got the players to finish off.
Finley Lockhart in and now, driving forward, just handing off. Nye Davis looking to go wide. Oh, brilliant take and try. That's a superb score for a BBR. That was a real hard one to take, and she took it with aplomb as well, and a fantastic finish.
Yeah, it was a fantastic long ball, fantastic finish. I think some of the Scorpions were perhaps appealing for a forward pass, but looked good from up here.
Oh, and London Scorpions, a fantastic move, and Richard Eccles going over the line, and that's again another important score just to keep him in touching distance. Three points is the difference with 5 minutes remaining. Lead by 11 points to 7.
Yeah, I think that kills it off. They just do it so well. The game management, they know when to turn it on, get that important score. So yeah, BBR still looking like the team to beat.
So Kai Devine taps off then for Scorpions. Means business, wants to try and see if he can get his side a point or two potentially. Emily Irons and Devine linking up here. Emily Irons back to Devine. What a fizzed in pass. An opportunity is lost for London Scorpions, so now BBR with a minute and a half remaining are well on their way at the moment to another victory. Already have won the Elite Cup twice in the first and second rounds. Oh, brilliant run, and making up some serious yardage. Finley Lockhart now, he picks it up. Oh, and a great pass to Mark Knight, who saw it coming, but good defence and shut out.
Yeah, she read that really well.
Eccles back inside. Justin Conway involved as well in the middle. Richard Eccles looking to drive forward. Here's Conway back with Eccles now, looking to get over that goal line. Emily Crow's just there as well, waiting in the wings. Going into the final minute. Can't be that long left until the final hooter. there goes the full-time hooter. Still the final phase of play. And the referee calls it, and the handshakes begin, and it's a win for BBR in the penultimate game of the day here in Oxford. A pretty comprehensive win in the end, a 4-point margin. London Scorpions didn't disgrace themselves at all, but BBR are just such a strong outfit, aren't they, Chris?
They are, yeah. As I said, they're still a team to beat, but yeah, I think both those teams look really good, and we'll see what the draw looks like for tomorrow. But we'd like to avoid both of them in the quarterfinals if we can.
So that brings an end to our penultimate game of the day. BBR coming out 11-7 winners over London Scorpions. We now move on to our final game of the day, which will be CSSC 2 taking on Nottingham Woods. Chris, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, and we wish you all the best of luck for tomorrow.
Cheers.
And we'll move on to our final game. We'll see you in a couple of moments' time.
Okay, ladies and gents, this is the start of the last game. Ready for the last top-off. Hope you're all still hydrated. Right. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning for the last top-off.
then. So thank you for joining us for the final game of today. We've got CSSC London playing against Nottingham Touch, the final game on pitch 1. It's been an absolute fantastic day of touch rugby here in Oxford, and this is Darren Howard, who will be talking you through the next 20 minutes of action. So we've got CSSC, John Stain in the middle, making quite a gentle start there. We can see CSSC just trying to move Nottingham around. That's a turnover there. Let's see how Nottingham can get out of their own half. Touch 1. It's 20 metres made so far by Nottingham. Let's see if they can set up an attacking play here. Attacking through the mids. Oh, just a last ditch touch there. CSSC now going to make the way from a 5 metre line. This is touch 1. Touch 2. Fresh players coming on in the background. Touch 3 there. Strong run there by number 16, William Simpson, but that's a turnover there. Quite an important game for both teams at the moment. Both the teams trying to maximise the amount of points that they can get at this stage of the day. Nottingham on attack here again. That's 23 there for Nottingham. Let's see if we can make this pass to the winger there in the corner. That's a lovely try. Scored in the corner there by Nottingham. That was scored by. Got wrong numbers on. I'll try and get the name of the scorer there for Nottingham. That was 55. Number 5, sorry, Isabel Hobson. Green on green, very hard to see from the commentary box, but we do our best to identify the players for you. Let's see if CSSC can reply back straight away. George Miller there for a strong attacking run. Touch 5 being called by the referee. Sean Atkinson there feeding the play. Okay, that's turnover there. Touch 1. Nottingham really trying to move the ball. Oh, strong defensive tackle there. And they've really split through the defence there, Nottingham. Quite a comfortable try scored there. And I'm joined on commentary by
Marshall McLeod. Nice to meet you.
Marshall McLeod, thank you for joining us on commentary. I know you've come straight off the pitch today, playing for Bareback Riders. This afternoon.
Yeah, it's been a really fun day. Pretty tough with the heat, but we managed to get through our games with 3 wins, so we're pretty happy.
How have you found playing in this hot conditions in the heat today?
Oh, it definitely affects you. You know, everyone's getting a bit hot, a bit more agitated. There's a bit more aggro going on out in the fields. But there's a few players knocking about that were playing in the World Cup in Malaysia, so they've got some experience of how to deal with these sorts of conditions. I know it's not as hot as Malaysia, but we've got that little bit of experience.
And a lovely try there, just whilst I was talking to
Marshall.
Daniel Wines there, just going straight through the middle there, scoring a try for CSSC. taking scores there to 2-0. Okay, so Nottingham on the attack there. Touch 2. Can you just talk us through what they're trying to set up, Nottingham, in terms of plays?
So they were trying to set up a sweeper play where the boy on the left hand side came around the back and was attacking over towards the right hand side of the pitch as the attack looks at it. But instead of giving the ball to that sweeper runner, the half just picked it up and took off in the other direction. Sometimes called a ninja. It's a sort of a development play after you've run a sweeper a couple of times. The defence are expecting it, so you do the opposite thing to keep them on their toes.
You can see there that CSSC are launching attack. Again, Daniel Wine seems to be the centrepiece of most of their attacking plays, or an ambitious long ball thrown to the winger there.
Yeah, there's a lot of value just in that sort of punishing drive going up the field. They got all the way to the touchline, so even without the score, they'll be pretty pleased with that because it just means and they've got the penalty as well. But even if they hadn't, the other team now have got to attack from their line, so it's just getting that fluency in your driving game is really important.
But at the end of the day, when you've played 3 games, how hard is it to defend those sort of plays?
Oh yeah, I mean your legs feel like lead. You're breathing pretty hard, and when a team's coming at you hard and you've got to run backwards, it just makes it even worse. And especially at the end of the day, it's tough. You can see it out there. People are blowing. There's a bit of confusion.
It's probably easier to be in the commentary box at this stage of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just watching, with a beer.
So Daniel Wise, it looks like they've called a 21 there. He's dived, and let's see the referee's decision. He's called a touch there. I think a touch was made just on the wrist as he made that dive. Final play from about 5 metres out. Let's see what they can set up. CSSC, will they play that big booming ball? It's coming, well caught there.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a ball to nothing there because it's last touch, so they don't have time to set up and move. But what it does is it puts the ball on the far side of the field from Nottingham's box, which is where they want to be getting to. So it just makes it that little bit harder. So that's quite
tactically, they just sort of almost sort of reset their defensive positions. CSSC there, so almost kind of like a deliberate ploy, hopeful ball, but gives you a chance to defend that set really.
Yeah, exactly.
Good movement by Nottingham again. They seem to be kind of almost running out of touches at the moment, Nottingham. They kind of get into touch 5 and 6 by there. What would be the kind of on-field advice, or what would you be calling?
So there they ran what's sometimes called a punish or just a scoop, where you set up so you get four attackers against 3 defenders, so you can pick an option. And I guess there the option was probably on the wing. She definitely had the most space out of the attackers, but the ball was past the link.
The try line at his mercy there. CSSC number 22. I'll catch his name. I think that's John Strain there for CSSC. I think it's just unlucky really. That coordination, it's a heat, slippy ball by this time of the day. It's sometimes hard to make those stick.
Yeah, absolutely. With the sort of sweaty hands, it does make a difference. I think he just probably took his eye off it a little bit. It's a lovely ball.
That's a lovely ball through the middle. And the referee's given that try for Nottingham. Making it 2-1 at the moment. Nottingham certainly trying to stay in this game. Plenty of time to force that comeback.
Yeah, and with these 40-minute games, which they've changed to in the last couple of years, fitness becomes such a key role now. With 20 minutes, you can sort of get away with not being in the best shape, but over 40 minutes, you're going to be found out. So towards the end of games, you can see big swings and.
To sort of support you through a 40-minute game.
Pardon?
What do you do training-wise? Anything different? Just to get through that, what you've been working on as a squad or team?
So, I guess at club level, you don't do a lot of fitness training when you get together because you've got so many moves to work on and just your general structures that you don't really have time. But most players will do a little bit of fitness on their own, and it's sort of Like repeated sprints is really useful, but just like a general fitness regime for a fast, like agile sport.
Yeah, well, you need that agility really at this level to. I mean, those pacey players are making a difference. If you've got them, they can exploit those gaps which are appearing at the end of the day. I'm sure there's some tired legs out there. And let's see what happens with this play. That big pass to the winger, nearly, maybe just not enough height on that ball. But the referee's given a penalty.
Yeah, that's called an ML attack, where we just have middle dump, and then the link just drives in pretty hard, and he's looking to score either outside or inside the touching middle. But if that's not on, then he looks to pass as he did there, but the ball just drops short of the winger.
They're looking for that pass. I feel like CSSC are really trying to set up that big pass for the winger. And let's see if they're driving well for this middle. Oh, didn't quite able to make that final pass stick there, Nottingham.
Yeah, so at this level you want to be defending a bit tighter,
yeah.
Because you want to be forcing those long balls, because it's the hardest score to get. You don't want to be letting scores through the middle, because they're pretty easy. You can just get a dive in. But if you're forcing those balls, then you're at least given the chance that it's dropped, or the pass is inaccurate, or a winger chases out and makes the touch.
So much you don't want to be beaten through the middle, shall we say, but force them to play that long ball, at 50-50 maybe.
Yeah, you hear it a lot in rugby union as well. Sort of defence coaches will say, "Look, if they score around us, I don't mind, but better not let them through." Yeah.
So I've got Richard King taking the touch there, one of the key playmakers for CSSC. George Miller, nice pass. Let's just see what they set up here. Seems like they're playing kind of a bit of a backdoor play. Around the back, or just weren't able to make that pass stick, ball to ground. Nottingham a fresh set of 6, starting deep from inside their own half. They seem to be getting out of the half all right, but it's just that final.
Oh well, we'll go for a race.
Explosion of pace, touch 2.
Yeah, you're saying they're getting out of the half quite well. That's true. And if they keep that up, you'd expect to see some more scores coming in the second half as the defence gets tired. As long as you keep getting there.
Just a little bit nap in there.
Yeah.
Okay, 5th touch called by the referee. Looks like they're setting up a switch. A double switch. Oh, touch made. Turnover. CSSC on the ball, touch 1. Will they get fresh players on? Touch 2. Touch 3.
There's a good yards in that drive.
Yeah, good yards there, good 30 metres made. Okay, they've got 1 or 2 to play with now. That long ball. Okay, yes, but the Nottingham winger there has covered that quite well. Nottingham launching attack.
Yeah, what they did well there was every time they lost a bit of pace and got a bit stuttery in their drive, they managed to. The next person came on and added a lot more, and they got the momentum back, which is really important when you get that, because it happens. There'll be a bad pass, you drop it a little bit, have to catch it again, and then you've lost all that momentum. So the next person has to just come on even harder and
momentum, so you can relaunch the play. Okay, so William Simpson got his hands on the ball at the moment. Good combination with Leanne there. Leanne Cantwell. The dive was made. What's the referee's call on that one? So sweeper play called. You can hear some of these calls being called out. 5th play. Static there really in terms of
yeah, it took them a while just to get set up in their attack, and then by the time they'd had a crack, they'd run out of touches for another one. So yeah, they need to maybe have a better idea of what they're trying to do before before they're on the pitch.
Structures, it's really at this part of the day you really got to play out your structures really.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to just go back to what you've done, 100 times before, because it's hot, everyone's tired, you're not thinking that clearly, you just need to do what is the simplest sort of move for you that you know you'll get right.
Daniel Wines on the field again. He seems to sort of make things happen for CSSC. Good injection of pace through there. Oh. It's quite a tight end goal area today. We've been sort of talking about that throughout the games. Not a lot of space to play those sort of scoop plays.
And you saw it there. The scooper broke through, but he didn't have the time because there was just not much space. Also, they were quite close to the sideline, so he didn't have that lateral room either.
So Nottingham looking to use their mids to set up an attack. Slightly sloppy play there.
Yeah, I think they lost count of the number of touches. It was 6th coming, but they were trying to set up an attack.
It's easily done, I guess. So towards the end of the day, 3 games played. The mistakes.
Yeah, you're just seeing us getting a little bit sloppy now towards the end of the half.
Is that just fatigue? Is that?
Yeah, just fatigue. It's 3 40-minute games is a hell of a lot to be running, and yeah, towards the end of the day, it's just little errors start creeping into the game.
So I do know we've interrupted your maybe your cool down, but what will you be sort of doing for the rest of the day? Really, is it the ice bath, or just find somewhere to stretch off later on?
We did buy some ice from Tesco. We cleared them out, but no, I'm not doing ice baths. They're absolutely horrible. No, I think we'll probably be doing just rehydrating.
Yeah, plenty of water, plenty of fluids on.
Yeah.
Boards. CSSC seem to generate a lot of pace off those first 2 touches. Slight infringement there.
Yeah, that pace has just won them the penalty, which they are now.
Nottingham not getting back 10 there. Sorry, 5. CSSC through on about touch 4 now. See if they can launch an attack off this. Last play. Sean Atkins there, just caught on the ankle there, little ankle tap. And that's a turnover. So touch 1. Touch 2. So what could Nottingham set up here from this sort of point of view?
So it looks like they're setting up middle plays. Yeah, so they've just done 4-1-3 scoop, and he's gone short side. And he's found some space. Yeah, great finish. Great job from the winger there to sort of go in and out and free up that space from our defender. But yeah, so that was just a 4-1-3 scoop, and he took it down the what we call the short side, which is the side with fewer attackers.
Just trying to catch a number.
7, I think.
Isabel Hobson, I thought it was a number 5. Her hair is just covering. Is that a 5 or a 7? We're credited Isabel for that one.
Yeah, great work.
A lot of patient play by CSSC. Good composure.
Yeah, Yeah, so if you're sort of facing the defence and you've not got exactly what you want, then you just need to talk it through and maybe rearrange your players and just get the right defender that you want to run your attack on. And yeah, patience is a key part of that. You see it sometimes, teams get hurried by the defence and then they end up just sort of wasting touches, which is a real killer when you're trying to attack.
So as we come up to half time, not half past half time, Nottingham against CSSC, it's currently 4-1.
There's a theory exam plus a practical assessment, and when you go from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, that has to be done at an elite tournament, like a nationals tournament or a Euros.
Touch is a minimum contact sport where the aim is to score more touchdowns than your opposition. Touch team is made up of 6 players on the pitch with up to 8 substitutions. Those 8 substitutions can roll on the pitch at any time. Touch can be made of mixed teams or single gender teams. In a mixed team, there is a minimum of 1 man and a maximum of 3 men on the pitch at any one time. At an international level, touch games are made up of 2 20-minute halves.
Half time, girls.
But at all levels, you can have varying different half lengths and periods of time.
To describe a changeover, it's as a result of a mistake. So mistakes can be from dropping the ball.
Stay on! Ball's down. Just the ball down, girls.
When the play has gone over the sideline or beyond the dead ball line.
Touch 27! Good.
And during play, when the acting half runs with the ball and gets touched.
12 all the way, 12 still, good.
And the most common one is on the 6th touch. That's when the possession gets changed over also.
A touchdown is the only way to score points in touch. A touchdown happens when the ball is grounded with downward pressure on or over the whitewash. The ball can be touched down but needs to be under control, and there needs to be downward pressure. A touchdown is worth 1 point. As there are no conversions in touch, you can score anywhere along the line, and as long as there is downward pressure and it is under control.
half. We've got the second half of Hoods against CSSC about to start. Hoods are currently 4-1 up. It still feels like a winnable game, a game which CSSC can make a comeback into. How do they go about doing it though?
Yeah, so what they're doing is they give themselves a lot of chances to score by getting up onto the Hoods scoreline, but then they're just they're lacking a little bit of the clinicalness when they attack, and just a little bit of sharpness. And if they sort of pick the right option to maybe just up it like 5-10% faster, then they'll be getting you'll be getting a lot more scores, because they're giving themselves loads of opportunities. So yeah, you could easily see like 3 or 4 scores this half from.
I feel like they're still in the game. There's plenty of time as well, 20 minutes. Certainly they can get those 3 tries back, but they're going to have to work particularly hard to do that. Let's see what they can execute here. A strong run there by John Strain. Bit of pace injection. Oh, the Hail Mary pass there, just tip in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah.
Failed to stick for CSSC. Touch one. During half time, do you really get a chance to sort of talk much about what happens in that 5 minutes, or is it kind of you get on with it really? What are you doing during that 5-minute interval?
Oh yeah, no, it's a great chance, and really important to sort of have a quick analysis of that half. You know, what went right, what went wrong, and just sort of maybe adjust your game strategy slightly for the second half. It's a lot easier if you've got someone not playing in the box who's just watching the whole time, because they can really sort of look at what the defence is doing in a sort of more calm way and collect more of the information. But yeah, the halftime talk is very important.
Yeah, just to maybe just freshen up the ideas or freshen up the play. Oh, that's a lovely dive there. The gap seemed to just open and he's exploited as it stands.
Yeah, that was a great finish.
And that's Liam Halpenny scoring for the Hoods there. Lovely try, good execution. Even the dive as well, he had time to dive as well. Really important that CSSC score on this attack. You think they've got to score now really to stay within this game.
Yeah, they need to get that momentum back. Especially after a score. When you get one back, it's such a good momentum killer for the opposition, because it completely negates what they've just done.
Oh, CSSC, long pass there, thrown to Natalie Grimsey, and that was a difficult ball to catch and bring down.
Yeah, she didn't really have much of a chance there.
Not really there. So CSSC regained control of not CSSC, the Hoods regained control of the ball. Touch one. Ambitious play in the middle. It doesn't look like subbing at the moment, so they're staying on. They're going to really force the play. Good pace.
Here he goes.
Oh, even down to pirouette there, keeping the play alive. Touch on its way. Oh, a lot of zip on that pass. Again, it's interesting, both teams are really looking for that long ball in the middle.
Yeah, I think we're seeing there's not many gaps opening up in the middle. There's been a few, and they've been largely exploited, but the good defence from both teams is forcing them to attack out wide, where it's a bit harder to get those scores.
CSSC certainly bringing on the fresh legs. It's Daniel there getting sort of 10 metres made.
Yeah, you can see both teams are the fresher for the second half. Sorry, for the half time. The rest is giving them a bit more zip.
I'd imagine on this attack now that the Nottingham Hoods will look to bring on fresh legs, because they did put on a big shift on that one.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the risk you run when you sort of drive. You can sometimes get a lot of success and make tons of yards, but if you don't score at the other end, then you're still on for D, and you gotta just grind it out and suck in the big ones for a while.
Being 5-1 at the moment, the Hoods, a little bit of game management, is that a big enough a lead to kind of see it through? How would you sort of manage it from here?
Yeah, so it's probably a little bit early to like sort of start maybe time wasting or coasting, but yeah, with a bit of gamesmanship, yeah. But yeah, with sort of that level of lead, then you want to be using all 6 of your touches, so maybe you don't risk as many passes in the middle of the field. You just want to get up and down and make sure you're making CSC work as hard as you can to get any scores. And if you keep doing that, then just the legs will go, and then
there's no need to force a play at the moment. It's kind of really preserve that, look after it and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
CSSC all through the middle, the try line was definitely open there. That pass has been held by William Simpson. Certainly would have had a try there. The try line at his mercy. Let's see what happens now. Just looking to sub off. Kind of scoop there. Oh, the pass is made. Dive in. Referee's decision there. He's given it.
Great finish.
That's a bit. Thought it was a cusp of a touch. A touch was made there, but he's given the try. The Hoods go further into the lead. Now make that 6-1.
Yeah, and that in particular is just gonna really drop the heads of CSC, you'd expect, because they've just had a chance to score. Try line was beckoning and they missed it, and now Notts have just gone up the other end of the field and put one on them, so it's really tough.
How's that feel, really? I know at any level, how's that feel when a team, you've kind of just missed that chance, that opportunity, and the team go right back down the other end and make you pay?
Yeah.
It's raining tries at the moment.
Another one.
CSSC on the comeback, Sean Atkins there.
Yeah, that score is important to sort of arrest that mental slide that you might be having, because it takes a very mentally strong team not to let the heads go down after something like that. But that's a really good response. They've gone out, they've got the score, brought it back to 4. So
yeah, currently 6-2 at the moment. Still plenty of time for CSSC to come back into this game.
Yeah, you just need that. If they can keep up that level of energy they just shown, and really attack Hoods with a bit more pace, then you could definitely get 4 in the time left.
You can see Nottingham calling the plays, reorganising themselves. A dummy run there, that's made a lot of space there. That's a lovely play by Nottingham. Can you talk us through that one? I haven't seen that one before. The decoy runners were certainly out there.
Yeah, that was a very good play. So they ran what's called a rooster there, where you have a middle link dump, and then the other middle far side from, as we look at it, was running in, and he got the ball, and then the half wrapped right round him, and then the player outside him, the link, who was also chopping a hole.
It seemed to really open up with a 2-on-1 there with that rooster play. It seemed to really create a lot of space for that winger to almost put the ball down with ease.
Yeah, absolutely. So because you've got sort of 2 players running in, it just drags all the defence, and they all think that the play is going that way, and then the wrapper goes behind those 2 players and is just in acres of space, like you said. The wing has stayed out, and then all of a sudden you've got the poor defensive winger with 2 people to mark and a whole lot of space to do it in, and it's pretty tough gig there.
One of those highlight reel tries, really.
Yeah.
Might be on the tries of the day footage. And let's see what the Hoods could do from here. Plenty of touches to use on 4. The momentum their way, certainly. Ball to ground. CSSC on a try hunt. Daniel Wines there, starting on touch 1.
So off that scoop, maybe the pass to the first hole hitter wasn't really the option. He didn't have a lot of space. I think even if he'd held on to it, he was getting touched. There was probably more space further out with the link or the wing. But yeah, sometimes you just don't see that. And
so fifth touch called. Big play. Tried to step inside the winger, but the winger there has been caught. Turnover of possession. Nottingham starting deep on the farthest side of the pitch, furthest away from the commentary gantry we're in. High into the sky.
yeah, now CSC have got another crack, and with some fresh legs right on the line, so hopefully we can see what they do.
So touch 2 there. They kind of almost need to make something happen though, CSSC. Have got to maybe chase some of these tries. May all count in that sort of try difference column when the final points and scores are being totaled up. Sean Atkins there. Oh, little cheeky sort of almost netball style pass to the ground.
Yeah, they look a bit tired. They ran the rooster move again there, a similar one to what Hoods just scored from, but they didn't have the same pace and the same intensity, so they didn't look that threatening, and they didn't get the defence sort of shutting in the same way. And if you don't sort of really look like you're going to score, then you'll never get the shut, and then you never get that 2-on-1 that we saw Hoods exploit.
But they've boxed the box of Hoods in at the moment. I mean, Hoods are on touch 5, still in their own half. We just crossed that halfway line. Oh, this is on. Yeah, that's his try in the corner.
Yeah, that's a great score, because you're right. The CSC had worked hard and they kept them, so they were scooping from their 10-metre line, I think, and then they sort of made something from nothing there with some good hands, drawn pass, and they put the winger in space. It was great play.
Not long remaining of the game, probably about 8 minutes or so, 8 minutes or less. That takes it now to 7-2. Stop correction there, 7-2 to Nottingham. I think it's difficult to come back from this for CSSC, but they've put on a brave performance.
Yeah, absolutely. They've played well. Driven really hard at times, but yeah, they've just lacked that cutting edge down at this end of the field.
Good touch there.
Yeah, well covered by the winger.
Well, that's an ambitious throw.
Yeah, a bit of flair
Roll
there.
of the dice there. Ambitious pass to Rosalind Chuston on the playing on the wing for CSSC. Touch 1, touch 2.
Wow.
That's a firm touch.
Bit of acting there, I think.
Yeah, he signalled firm touch.
I think his teammates might be giving him a bit of stick for that later. That was Oscar worthy.
And he's forced CSSC back 10 metres for that one. So that's first now. Second. Nottingham now just eating up the clock, just really look like they're enjoying having control of the ball.
Yeah, it's like we said earlier, at this stage of the game with their lead, they're using all 6 touches, they're taking their time, they're in no rush, and they just get to attack whatever move they want and give it a go without that pressure.
They seem to like to sort of go against the grain, really. They like to sort of take it back on that left-hand side, I'm noticing. That might be a ploy or a tactic, but they really want to sort of almost attack on that left-hand part of the field.
Yeah, I guess what you kind of want to do is you want to make it look like you're attacking one way, and then defenders are all expecting that, and also the far defenders might be switching off a little bit or not doing their jobs as well as they could. and then all of a sudden you're back over there, you're attacking on them, and you're exploiting that little bit of weakness.
Oh. It's like miscommunication there by CSSC.
Yeah.
It happens, picking up the ball from the ground. You want a bit of a firmer pass was needed there.
Yeah, I think so. I think 21 was trying to go run in and then bounce out, whereas the half, number 5, was expecting him just to keep coming in, and yeah, so we saw the ball die a little bit there.
So ball to ground there, slight fumble. Hearing the word intensity being shouted out. It's really important, I guess, at this stage of the game not to kind of let those standards slip.
Yeah, and it does take a lot of encouragement and noise from your teammates in the sub box to sort of keep you going, especially if you've been on the field for a little while, like Notts have now. They've been defending. This is their second set of defence.
Well, that gap's opened. Will it be exploited?
Oh, that's a great finish. Touch was in.
Referee just to confirm that. No, touch was made. Big pass, can she cut inside? No, it's a turnover. That's touch 1. Touch 2. Good intensity here. Touch 3.
Yeah, that's good hard work, especially since they've been on for a while.
Touch 4.
So they're going to give their teammates a good chance of attacking here.
Scoop's coming up here. Oh, lucky there. Ball to ground.
Yeah, I think it was on there. I think Lincoln might have scored if the ball had been thrown a little bit more accurately.
Good scoop. 3 minutes left of this game.
And that sort of attack all came from the intensity with which they left the field. So if you score one of those, you owe it to your teammates who just defended for you and then gave you that platform.
Oh,
I got him.
Thought he sliced through the gap there, but unfortunately not for CSSC. Good opportunity as well, I guess, if you do end up playing some of these teams tomorrow to maybe sort of scout on what you can expect, a little bit of a preview for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always useful to watch the opposition beforehand, see who their sort of gun players are, what moves they like to run, how they set up in defence. Yes, it's always useful.
So turnover. Final 2 minutes left of the game. I think it's fairly safe to say at the moment that CSSC it's a tough ask to come back from here. Nottingham has certainly really performed very well during this game.
Yeah, they've just been pretty, just a little bit more clinical up the far end when they've been attacking.
It's just that execution of some of those plays. They've had the opportunities, even with that run there, but they just haven't been able to kind of make some of those passes stick for the wingers.
Yeah, exactly.
To do.
you think they might be a little bit frustrated with themselves at the end of this, but they've put in a pretty tough shift and they worked hard, so there's not much to complain about. Notts just have been a bit more clinical, a bit sharper in attack.
Lots of communication as well. You can hear the hoods calling. Oh, that's opened up.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that has opened up a lovely, fantastic try there. That's Sadie Meakin. A knife through butter, hot knife through butter. A brilliant score there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just a bit of, nothing really looked on, but then a bit of fast feet. And he tried to go around the outside, managed to draw in 2 players, and the switch was on massively. The far defence wasn't covering that hole.
Okay, so the hooter is fast approaching, and that takes CSSC 2 tries to Nottingham's 8. Really good performance by Nottingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hooter's gone.
There we go. I don't know what the pool looks like, but if Nottingham have made it through, you'd expect them to have a really good go tomorrow because they've looked pretty sharp today. And yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to both teams taking part in the rest of the tournament, and that concludes today's live coverage on the England Touch website. Final game for today is CSSC 2, Nottingham Hoods 8, and thank you for tuning in.